Meraya Machapamadhatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Sura meraya majapamadhatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Well done of you taking the refuge and taking the precepts and keeping the sila. It leads into happiness.
Amma bante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, very good. So now we're going to do the Itipiso. So I do the first Itipiso, then we start from the Arahant Samma. Itipiso Arahant Samma. Okay. Arahant Samma Sambuddho Vichacharana Sampanno Sukhato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati Sata Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Panaiko Pachata Veditabo Vinyuhiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Savakasangho Uchupatipanno Bhagavato Savakasangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Savakasangho Samichipatipanno Bhagavato Savakasangho Yadidan Chatari Purisa Yugani Attapurisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Savakasangho Ahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttaram Punyaketan Lokasati. Now we do the Metta Sutta in English, so if you haven't done it, you can read it from the board. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, not busy with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be happy, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be happy. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to false views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so now we do the guided meditation. So sit down comfortably and relax. I don't have a clock, so oh no, there's the clock there. I know, 10 minutes. So an important thing when you're meditating is to learn to just relax. Meditation is not concentration, it's not something we do. It's something, what happens when you just let go and when you get out of the way. It's the same thing like when you're falling asleep, you don't actively fall asleep, you just get out of the way and the sleep just takes over. So make sure your body is comfortable now that you are here. We're only meditating 10 minutes, so you don't have to worry about it getting painful or anything like that. But always make sure when you start meditating that your body is kind and comfortable. So wherever you see in your body that it needs adjusting in the beginning, it's always good to do it with kindness. Don't be stiff. Just relax. Then just breathe into your body. Let the breath calm you down. Just feel the breath going into your tummy and in and out of your body, just relaxing. feel how your body feels. If it's tired, it's just natural. We had a busy night last night and many things to be doing. It was a long week. And if the body just wants to slump down, let it go down. And if you're afraid, you're just going to fall asleep and be dull. The only cure, the best thing to do is just look at the slumpness or the tiredness with kindness. That's the only way you can bring energy to your mind and body. Smile a little bit. This is not supposed to be hurting. When you actively do something happy, like smiling, it sends a good signal to your body that everything is okay. When your body's at ease and feels okay, your mind is relaxed. Again, if your mind is tired, just look at it with kindness. When you look something with kindness, you give interest to it. Don't fight. Wherever the mind wants to pay attention, just take that as your object. Then, for a little while, move your attention into the breath. Just look at it with neutral attitude. It's just a breath. It's not very interesting, but it's just there. Just moves in and out of your body. We're coming close to the end of the meditation. Come back to your body, feel how the body feels. Feel again the body's breathing in and out. The body is a unit. It lives in harmony with all the parts. Feel the body breathing in and breathing out. You can feel how the body is alive. It's a good body. If we take care of this body, it will take care of itself. Now feel your mind again for just a tiny little moment. your mind a little bit more quiet than what it was before? Can you feel how nice it is to sit quietly for a while instead of being in a busy shopping mall? How pleasant it is to be in a quiet place for a while. And now I will ring the bell for 3 times. Please listen carefully, all the 3 rings to the end, and then you can open your eyes. Nice to see so many people here. I guess people are not too tired after yesterday's big event, so that's good. Maybe it's nice to come and relax here for a while after being busy. A lot of organizing these things, I know, coming from the small society, it takes a lot of effort. I was just looking my email because I forgot what I'm supposed to give the talk about. And so I gave this, I was asked to give topics, and this was planned on March, so I've completely forgot what I was thinking. So I went on my email and looked, and the topic I gave was to lower your expectations. And it's a good topic. Ajahn Brahm actually talks about it quite a bit, so I think that's where I choose it from, lower your expectations. But looks like what had happened on March is Finland was selected the happiest country in the world. 6th year in a row. 6th year we've been the happiest country in the world, but I just came from Finland. Didn't seem to be that happy. Very, very normal happiness. Either that, or we're always looking from Finland outside when we get this 6th year selected the happiest country. What are the other ones doing wrong? We just cannot imagine, like, how come we the happiest? Seems to be very normal there. But maybe we're so used to it, the happiness. Even happiness gets, after a while, 6th year in a row, there's only so far you can go with it. But so I think, so what had happened, so again, I went to the email and I looked, and there was a Finnish sociology professor, and I've read the BBC article on since we were just selected then on March as the happiest country. They interviewed this sociology professor, and he said that I think the key to why the Finns have been selected the happiest country, and again, because they obviously ask people how satisfied they feel of the country and of their lives, And he said, I think that, and he thought the key to that, why people feel happy there in Finland, is that they lower their expectations. They have what they expect from life, from good life, it's actually, they limit their expectations a little bit. So they have, in Finland we have this interesting, I lived in the United States as well. I've lived there quite a few years, and there's a massive hype always in the United States. Everything is great, awesome. If people ask you how you're doing, you don't just say I'm fine. People, oh, just fine? What do you mean? Yeah, I'm fine. No, United States, I'm great, and not just great. I'm really good. You don't just say good. You have to say really good. So you get to these superlatives. Everything has to be really massive. Whereas in Finland, we're just like very low key. It's okay. Life is fine. What do you expect from life? And that's happiness. If you don't have your expectations very high, well, the happiness, it tends to be more continuous, more constant. I think it, and so like I said, Ajahn Brahm talks about quite often about lowering your expectations, and it is a really good thing because we expect a lot from ourselves. The society, and I think here, and there's an A-levels here in Singapore, and there's a lot of, the exams are coming, and there's the society, the family, there's all kind of expectations, and we cannot really be outside of that. We are part of the society, we are part of a family, so that we get the expectations from there. It's hard to be outside of that. So, but then what you have to do is actively look at it and see what you can do with those expectations. They might be overly high. I'm lucky. I come from really small farming community, and there was I didn't have a lot of expectations. If anything, sometimes I felt like I wish somebody would have pushed me a little bit. You tend to become a bit of a drifter when you don't have a lot of expectations. But even then, I set a high bar for myself. I was always feeling that I need to go and somehow succeed in life. But we really need to think about what is success in life. What makes us happy? Is it really that you pass all the exams with 100%? No, I think that's failure in a society or in your exams. Don't tell this your mom if you're doing your A-level soon. But there's always more to be succeeding in life. There's always another bar you have to go over. But if you looked inside of yourselves, inside of your mind, it's actually creating a lot of stress, a lot of unhappiness in our lives. That's why I like what the professor said, that if you see what the life can offer us, what can we expect from this life? What can we expect from our bodies to give us? What kind of happinesses does it provide us? The body is there to take us from place to place. It provides some pleasures, but we have to expect that our bodies belong to the nature. It doesn't really belong to us. The body tends to be sick once in a while. The body tends to have aches. The body lets us down, but sometimes it's half of the time is good and half of the time is not so great. But we need to, when we lower the expectations, we look at the body with kindness, it doesn't matter so much. When we look at this, and the same thing with our own minds, when we look at our own minds with kindness, we lower the expectations. We don't expect to be happy all the time. Like I said, look, in Finland, we're happiest in the 6th year in a row, but it didn't look that amazing out there. Came from there. I was there for 3 weeks, and I'm here in Singapore for a week. But there is this constant satisfaction of life in Finland. We expect that we have to pay a lot of taxes, because that's how, it's a socialistic country, basically. And for me, and for us, when you grow up like that, it's given. The society have to take care of each other. And same for us. We need to take care of our families, we need to take care of the workplace, we need to take care of ourselves. And we have to see ourselves as a part of something. And that's why it's really important that we have the Buddhist fellowship here, and I come from another Buddhist society. We need to have these places. If you think yourself as a very individualistic way, like what happens in the United States, it's hard to be content. It's hard to be, if you think yourself very, very, this is me, this is who I am, it's hard to have happiness that way. But if you think of yourself as I'm part of something, I'm doing something good for others, I'm taking care of others, you feel more at ease. I think it's way more natural for humans to be part of big groups. So I can see that looking now from the news, what's happening in the United States, there's a lot big division happening in the country. The whole country is really divided about the wealthy, different races, immigrants who live there, gun ownership, non-gun ownership, whatever it is. It really comes from the idea of, I can rule my life. But honestly, when you start meditating, once you start looking inside of you, you realize that you're never outside of anything. We are always part of society. We're always part of our family. We're always part of Buddhist fellowship. All of these groups, wherever, well, we are always part of something. There's never really you in anywhere there. I like the idea of, in Buddhism when we teach, for example, will, it's one of those things what makes you. We have perception makes the whole thing, how we perceive things, but will is one of the big things where we actually think we are. Is there free will in Buddhism? Do we believe in free will? The Buddha thought the basic concept of Buddhism is anatta, right? You should all know that, right? You've been studying Dhamma for a long time, perhaps. So we have anicca, dukkha, anatta. What is anatta? What does it mean? Non-self, right? The Buddha thought that's a basic key concept of Buddhism, anatta, non-self. How can there be then free will if there's no self? Where does the free will reside? It's as if we could think ourselves outside of everything. It's not possible. We are part of something. We are part of the society, the family, whatever our education are, whatever the body gives us limits or provides us. So the free will it's almost like you can think of like a funnel. It's all those past things what had happened in your life, and you had the limiting factors of the society and your education, whatever. And then you are at this moment, at this one moment of present, here. You are now here. And every mind moment, that's really the mind moments. I don't like to talk about it too much. It goes too much in Abhidhamma. But basically what happens, you are here now at this moment. And from that, those are the limiting factors. Whatever the funnel puts into this mind in this moment. And from that, you can decide. You cannot be outside of that. There's no way. And you could think that's part of your kamma, your karma. All those limitations. And from that, there's a tiny bit of a choice there. But what is that choice? It's all those past things what had happened. You can choose, but the limitations are there. So it's like a funnel. Whatever from the past comes to this moment, then you can choose between those little things. The choice is tiny, tiny. Like, we're gonna eat soon, and you can choose whatever it's there. Like, I get offered all this food here, and I can choose amongst those foods, and I can think like, oh well, that agrees with my stomach, that doesn't agree with my stomach, and all that. That's gonna keep the hunger away because I don't eat anymore today. I have those limiting factors, and from there is a tiny little moment of free will, so to speak. But it's not. It's honestly almost non-existent. So we need to see these limiting factors as what we can do with it, with them. Not to sort of fight against them. How can I make myself happy with those limiting factors? I hope I'm not going too scientific or too dry with this. It's nice I like to inspire, but But honestly, the only thing you can do is what comes from the past. At this moment, you choose. Every mind moment what you make, you're choosing something. And we are always trying to move away from suffering. That's just natural. You cannot sustain suffering. You cannot really sustain happiness either, but that goes a little bit too deep. But try to see the limiting factors as an asset. It's the same thing like people see. I've noticed some people are starting to take film cameras back on. They take the film, so you have those 32 or 24 frames in there. And then you really have to think, what I'm going to take picture of. If you have the digital cameras came 20 years ago, and then you can take 1,000 pictures and then select a few of them and then edit them and put them in a Facebook and make it look like you're really happy. But you have a film camera, you only have those frames you can select from. So we need to start looking as like, okay, well, there's a limiting factors in my life. We need to be realistic about what provides happiness to us. Realistic. That's what the professor said, the sociology professor. We need to be realistic what we can do with our lives. What provides happiness in our lives. See the limiting factors as an asset. And see actually limitations as an asset. For us monks, we have a lot of limitations. Right, we have a lot of rules, but does it make the monks unhappy? No, we're actually quite a happy bunch. If you come to the monastery, there's a lot of laughter there. It's a very joyous place. It relaxes us because we know our limits quite well. We know how to behave. Even for my clothes. It's interesting, this morning we went to walk and the people were asking, like, they assumed I have so many different kind of robes. No, I have one set. This is it. I went to see the president yesterday with these robes. I went to exercise with these robes this morning. I used this as a blanket last night. It's very easy for me. These are the limiting factors for me. I don't have to think about going shopping for Gucci robes. What would be a really nice robe? I get the robes, and I get to keep them for like. I've been a monk now. I've been in robes for 12 years coming, and this is my third set of robes, or upper robe. My mom and dad gave me two robes first. I mean, after 5 years I changed. My mom and dad gave another set. And this is now, after 10 years, it was just getting so thin, so I had to change into this one. So I had this for 2 years now, I think. And it's so easy, you know, like you get a little tear, you mend it, you take care of it the best of you can. And there's a lot of limiting factors for us, but it somehow, it's interesting, it makes us more relaxed. There's Daniel Kahneman, I liked to read. I was really, when I went to monastery, I was a bit all over the place because I was really busy when I was a layperson. And then I went to monastery, and it's like stopping really, really quickly, and it's not easy. The engine is really hot in many ways, which I'm not going to tell the heat I had. But since I had to stop really quickly, I didn't know what to do with myself, so I ended up studying a lot. So I read the whole library in our monastery. And one of the books there is Daniel Kahneman, The Thinking Fast and Slow. And he talks about, in his book, is quite often what happens is we get into paralysis of when we have to choose from amongst multiple things. And his example was like, if you give people, in the United States, what happens, you have to select a insurance. So you take a work insurance, and they give you so many multiple options amongst the insurances. So you get like 10, 11, 12, and then this is all these sub-clauses there, and you have to think about it. And then what happens, then you get this paralysis, you end up not choosing anything because you have the paralysis of having to choose amongst many things. But if you give people 3 choices, they feel much happier. Even though they don't have all that choices, they feel happier because they can feel, I'm relaxed. 3 choices, I can figure this out. If you give people 13 choices, that's a lot of stress. So we need to see limiting factors as a good thing. And that's for us monks. We have the limiting factors, and it's a good thing. You see, you have to end up seeing in your own life, this is who I am. Lower your expectations. This is how far I can go. It sounds really a bit negative, and it doesn't sound, wow, we all can be anything. No, you can't. The good thing about Buddhism, the one thing I really like Mahayana Buddhism, we have an idea, or there's an idea in Mahayana Buddhism, the Buddha nature. Everybody has the nature to be enlightened. You have it, no matter who you are. That's true. You can meditate, absolutely. That's given. Anybody has that. Everybody of us have the same nature to have the ability to get enlightenment. There's nobody here who just doesn't have it. You have it. But you cannot be Olympic runner in 100 meters. No matter how much you train. Maybe there's somebody here, but I doubt it. I don't recall Singaporean 100-meter Olympic medalist in my memory. That's beyond your limits. But that's a good thing, because then you don't end up training for the next 10 years for become, best 100-meter runner in the world, because you're just wasting your time. But because we start seeing these limits as good things, it's not away from you. It's like, I'm good at this. This makes me happy. We see the limitations we have in life, and you see that as a positive thing. Going back a little bit into the film camera, when you have 24 frames, you don't go clicking here and there, click, 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 click. And it's like, well, I don't want to put this in Facebook. It doesn't look like I'm happy. Look, then you frame the picture. You have more mindfulness. You do the picture. You take the picture, and then you have to be satisfied what you took, because there's no going back changing it. Same thing in our lives. Limiting factors, right? We have family. It limits us, but it gives us a lot more as well. Living in Singapore, certain things limit us because we live in Singapore, or you live in Singapore. I'm going to Melbourne tomorrow. That limits me. But it provides a lot. So never see these things as negative things. If you lower your expectations, really look inside of you and say, this what makes me happy. This is where happiness really lies in. Then you can start working towards that. And always remember there is no like ultimate happiness out there. It's not like, oh, I do this. I hope this is going to be really good. I hope this is going to make me happy. Whatever decision you make in life, and you go towards that, it's almost like you're baking a cake. You have the ingredients from the past. Expectations, limitations, whatever. Those are the ingredients you have. You make the cake from that. Maybe you were born with bad flour in your family. The eggs were no good. Nobody gave you enough sugar, sweetness towards you. But you make the cake with that. And then you live with that cake. This is the best cake I could make. And you appreciate that. I made this choice. We cannot live in multiple realities. It's nice to dream. There's nothing wrong about that. It's nice to dream and enjoy and all that, think about what I'm going to do. But come back and say, well, do I want to do this? What do I expect from life to give me? And then enjoy what you have. I think that we don't enjoy enough what we have. That really is key to the happiness. This is what I have now. This is what, I studied, I did this, I'm here now. Don't always be rushing to the future. Come back a little bit here. I'm here. This is who I am now. This is what my mind is. This is who I am. If you never end up looking, you're always rushing, you're always thinking about the future. Oh, future will be, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be happy. No, be happy now. What's wrong about being happy now? We always have the tendency, I'll be happy then. I get the A-levels out, then I'll be happy. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. Then you have to go to university. Oh, well, then I finish the university, then I'll be happy. No, then you have to go and workplace. Well, I work really hard and then I earn money and then I can retire and relax. No, then you'll be old and grumpy again. I just work really hard and then when I die, then I can rest. Yeah. Good one, yes. Great idea. Then you can rest. No, enjoy life now, what I'm saying. We have the limiting factors, sure. Lower your expectations what the life can give us. Be happy now, not in the future. And that's, I think the professor was quite right. The sociology professor, why he was saying that the Finns are the happiest 6th time in a row because we lower our expectations. And it's true. I was just in Finland and it was good. The society is even, we're a very flat society, we pay taxes, we go to the same schools, we don't have private schools, we don't have to, the kids come from school early. My nephews and nieces, I see them going in the morning in the taxi. They live my brother now lives in a farm next to us, and they go in the morning, not too early. It was something like 7:30. I saw the taxi going, watching with mom and dad drinking coffee. They're the grandchildren going. That's the activity of the morning. They're coming back, and it's like they're done 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's their school day. Bam. It's interesting. Finland is one of the highest achievers in the schooling, yet we don't have a lot of pressure. The school days are short. There's not much homework to do. I think it's a good thing. And it somehow works. But it's hard to think that way, that sometimes when we relax and don't expect too much, we actually are more happy. So that's, I think, my talk for the morning, and I go for questions and answers if there's any. Thank you so much.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Right, thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
Complaints?
Hello, Ajahn.
Hello?
No complaints so far.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you've heard of this New Age concept called law of attraction. So have you heard of it?
No.
Oh, no. So basically, it's like there's this like concept that you can manifest desires and increase your options through positive thinking, and eventually you'll realize them. So it's a way for people to reach to a certain goal that they've been aspiring towards. So I was thinking, like, how do you reconcile wanting to reach to a certain goal with like being content with the options that you have? Like, let's say I'm just content with the options that I have. I might not get to where I want to be. So how do we reconcile that?
Well, the thing is, where do you think you want to be is that thinking doesn't get you that far. Be careful with that. You think you have, you think, oh, like, yeah, I'm thinking I have all these options. You don't have free will. You don't. You're limited by these factors from the past. You think you're thinking outside of the box. No, you're not. You're just thinking within those limitations. And you're thinking from what the society is expecting, from your friends and all that. Yes, that's happiness. Be careful with your thinking. But this manifestation idea, I can see it works if you're happy here, and whatever you do, if you do it like with happiness, the more and more, if you put effort into that, then sure, of course you're going towards happiness. If you're always tough person, angry person, whatever you're manifesting now, you're manifesting anger and toughness. And what are you going to reap from that? You're going to reap from anger, more frustration. But if you're manifesting kindness, relaxing, contentment, that's what you're going to reap in the future, of course. If that's a law of attraction, I can see that, yeah. So whatever you're doing now, it's going to be future. That's what's going to happen in the future. So if you're manifesting loving kindness, of course you get kindness back. That's what we teach. But it has to start from yourself. The kindness really has to start from yourself. And yeah, that's what you get back. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other question? Perhaps Ajahn, one question from me.
Okay.
So when we talk about lower our expectation, do we still have to set high goals and put in the effort? Because it feels like if we lower our expectation, then maybe some of us doesn't feel like coming to BF because they say, I'm not going to be enlightened this world, this time, so maybe I'll just go shopping.
Right. That is really going too low. Okay. Look, I think there's a certain amount of effort you have to put in to be able to look inside of yourself. Sure, it takes effort, but if you never do that, sometimes you have to see like, well, this will benefit me. So you need to see the benefits in the future as well. If I don't exercise well, or even go for a walk at all, I just sit in the sofa and eat peanuts all day, and what are you going to expect? What are you going to get? So sometimes it's hard to get out of the sofa and instead of just scrolling through the internet, it's like go for a walk and do something which makes you happy. It's like, okay, well, this is more effort, but it is like, well, no, actually, I think this is going to benefit me more. So you see where the happiness lies in. So, okay, it's effort. Yeah, perhaps it's more fun. I honestly don't see it. be more fun to be in a shopping mall this morning with all those activities than to be here. And so you had to put in the effort to come here. Listen to my talk, yeah, what that would be. But in the long run, hopefully I inspired you a little bit more, and then you're like, well, after this you go shopping and eating to your heart's content. But something stays inside of you. And going towards the Nibbana, enlightenment, look, the car has left. You cannot stop in anymore. If you've been coming here, one of my favorite suttas is where Mahanama was dying. He's one of the disciples of the Buddha, and he was worried about it. He was worried about what's going to happen. I talked about a little bit of the concept of anatta, non-self, and he was worried that I haven't realized I'm not a stream mentor yet. And he asked Buddha, what's going to happen? I'm afraid. Do I find the Dhamma again? And the Buddha said, don't worry, Mahanama. If you have respect towards the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, you listen to the teachings, you contemplate the Buddha's qualities, you respect for the Sangha, the teachers who you have now, and you have your sila as a fourth. So you have four things. The sila, I like to translate, I got it from Ajahn Brahmali, my good friend. Sila is a kindness. If you have a kindness as the fourth one in your mind, so you have those things, through four things, you're always leaning towards Nibbana. That's what happens. So, tough luck, you're going there. Even you go shopping afterwards.
Thank you, Ajahn. Anybody else have any questions?
There's one.
It's actually got to do with.
Yeah, keep it so other people can hear it, and maybe it's
Yeah.
online recorded.
I
Yeah.
don't know whether can.
Yeah, no, I can hear. Yeah,
Okay.
please keep it close to your mouth.
So basically, I think a lot of people are quite extreme. Usually, they like to move for the extreme. They're actually extremely aggressive, or they are extremely laid back. But how do we keep a moderation in our practice and in our daily life?
How do you keep? Yeah, so we tend to swing between or some people are relaxed and some people are tough. But I think the moderation is it comes really from looking inside. We just have to look. It's tough to see, but we have to do the practice for ourselves. And no matter how kind you're going to be, people are going to be tough with you. We cannot control the world. Even for us monks, people yell at. I'm part of building a retreat center. People get really tough with me, and I have to have a little bit of tough skin sometimes. It's like, yeah, well, I'm not going with this. This is not done correctly. That's my job. My job is to make sure that the retreat center gets done the way it's been designed. My job is to make sure that whatever the donation is being given to the monastery, we put the best use, that we don't waste money, because that's what the money is given for. That's my job. I have to be tough. I cannot just be lenient and let them do whatever they want. That wouldn't be kind towards the donors, right? So you have a job you have to do. You have to study and all that, and you have to be sometimes discipline yourself and all that. But lean towards being kind towards yourself. Lean towards being happy inside. And then when people get tough with you and you have difficult situation, you're just like, okay, I did the best of my abilities. I just did my work. I'm still a kind person inside. Just keep thinking, I'm a good person, I'm okay. I didn't come from a place of greed. I just like, okay, people abused me, but it wasn't really my fault. Just what people do. Dogs bark. It's nothing to do with you. It's, dogs, that's what they do. Bosses tend to bark as well. So if we don't put in the effort of really liking ourselves, then, well, who's going to like you? If you put in the effort of like, okay, I'm putting in the effort of being kind person, honest person, leaning, being respectful, listening Dhamma, this is who I am, that's what you get in the future. And one thing with Sila actually, like, okay, you take the precepts, that's what we call Sila quite often. And you giving, by keeping Sila, by keeping precepts, by being a good person, you're actually giving others kindness. You're giving them so they can relax around you, because you're not going to hurt others. So think of everything you do, your Sila, as your kindness, as giving others. You don't just do it for yourself, it just flows out of you naturally. Yeah. Was there another one there? No? Wow, quietness. Okay.
Ajahn, I think today is a good topic when we say about lower expectation, because in the context of Singapore, we can't always lower our expectation because price increases, tax increases, price of housing increases, everything increases. So
right.
where we want to lower expectation means we have to move to Finland.
No, okay. So look at this way. Lower your expectations what the Singapore can offer you. Don't expect too much from Singapore. It can give you certain things. Look, it can give you good education, good health care, a lot of things. But that's what it can give you. It can't give you heaven on earth. It just doesn't happen. You go to Finland, what do you get? You get long winters, you get people who don't talk to you, a lot of drinking, anything, all of those things. So there's nowhere in this world where you're going to find happiness. And coming from Australia, now living there, that's I can see the little cracks in the wall there as well. Yeah. It's a good place, Singapore, absolutely.
Not yet the first.
Okay, so you think you will be going there and then in the future will be happy and then you will be happy when Singapore will be perfect. Right, good luck with that one. Lower your expectations.
Any last questions?
Going once, twice. No, okay, good.
Thank you, Ajahn,
Yeah.
for the talk. So yeah, I think
Maybe you have to have the microphone close because I think the gain is too low.
I think I'm kind of a workaholic. I enjoy my work.
Okay.
But so I want to ask is that I find like I kind of enjoy solving the problems in my work.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes when solving it, I'm struggling, and when I'm not sure whether enjoying this success in solving problem is kind of an expectation, is kind of going aligned with what you are saying, because you need to look forward for that success. You need to expect that success.
Well, I mean, it is going with the thing because you're enjoying what you're doing. It's not like, like, okay, we need to somehow suffer more. Look, if you enjoy what you're doing, and then the one thing you can remove that equation is don't think about so much what's going to happen, how that when I do this, it will be like this, that I will be successful. So you do the best of your ability, you enjoy solving the problems and you do the best, but when you have an idea that I'm doing this, and you have this strong idea, it has to be like this. So then when it turns out something different, you're going to have a lot of suffering. So try not to think about the end result too much. Don't put so much you into that end result that I will make this happen. If you're just doing because you're enjoying, it's fine. But if you have a strong ego and you, whatever happens in the future, if it's you who's doing it really strongly, well, then if it fails, you're going to have a lot of suffering. If it succeeds, then it's good. But if it doesn't, at least you don't invest yourself personally too much into it. You're just doing it because you enjoy doing it. That's good. That's good job. That's really nice thing to do. But if you're investing yourself, like, if I fail, it's my failure. Be careful with that. Be really, really careful with that. Don't own things.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Ajahn, for your talk.
Yeah.
I gather from listening that you actually, what you're trying to say is actually to teach us to be more contented, and one of the tools would be to lower your expectations. Am I correct? Because there are other factors that you also bring in, like non-self. So I think that also like drives you to want to achieve more. But if you have less of like non-self, you can grasp that concept and lower your expectations, and then that will lead to contentment and ultimately like the goal, nibbana, happiness. Is that what the whole talk about? Is it?
Well, I think you took it to a notch higher than I was thinking, but sure, the nibbana will happen, but it is a little bit like, once we start seeing these limitations on non-self, and we start, the sense of self hopefully diminishes a little bit, and contentment happens as well when you realize, well, I'm just working from these limiting factors. Even the contentment comes very automatically. It's an interesting thing once we start seeing that there really isn't no self there. There really isn't free will there. The more and more we see it, the happier we are. So we start seeing all these limiting factors as we have more realistic expectations of life. When you are more realistic about what life can give you, what Singapore can give you, what you can give you, when you lower your expectations from that, you're more realistic, then you're more content. Oh, I can relax now. I'm not going to be the 100-meter Olympic winner. Just relax. The happiness comes from that. Yeah, sure. And okay, the nibbana happens from that as well, of course. You cannot force yourself to sleep. It's like the same thing. We have to start seeing, like, okay, well, more I try to get out of the way, life is easier. We have these dreams and all that. It's like, oh, if I get a partner, I was like, oh, it'll be really nice. Then you come to talk to us, and 10 years later, I was like, yeah, partner wasn't it. Maybe I got a wrong partner. No, that's not either. It's okay to dream and all that. But it's just like you try to bring yourself more and more in here. It's like, yeah, be content with it. But the contentment comes from this realistically seeing that I'm just going whatever the society, the family, whatever those limitations have. I'm making choices from that. There's no self anywhere. We all are out of control. When I look my own mind, it's completely out of control. I cannot keep anything in my mind when I look at it. It's just constantly changing. It's constantly something different. And you just start saying, it's like, there's nobody control. Nobody's in charge here. It gets a bit scary. Who's in charge? When I'm not in charge, everything just goes very naturally in life. But more we fight, and more we put self-interest into it, the more we suffer. Okay, we do the best of our abilities. You're not enlightened. You don't see the non-self everywhere in your life. So that's why you have to start somewhere. Lower your expectations. You're happier that way.
Right, okay, I think we have one more. So this should be the last question.
Hi, Ajahn.
Hello.
I just want to ask about lower our expectation. Okay, I already 60 plus. Okay, so when I started work, like many of them, they have to take bus, MRT, all these things. So for me, I also went through the same thing. So during that time, I say, how if I can have a car? I think most of them also the same, so that I don't have to go and squeeze in MRT buses. So this is my expectation.
Yeah.
Then I will work towards that goal
Yeah.
to get a car.
Yeah.
So if I lower my expectation, then it will mention that it will make me happy. But actually, it don't make me happy because every morning I have to go through the same thing. So
Yeah.
I try to work hard
Yeah.
so that I can afford a car.
Yeah.
So and then, okay, I'm fortunate enough. Finally, I got a car.
It's a nice car. Took me places yesterday.
It's small, right?
Yeah.
I hope it's not too squeezy for you. Okay, so finally I got although it's a second-hand car. So, but that made me happy.
Yeah.
So if I really lower my expectation, until now will still be taking the bus and MRT. So I just want to hear your comments.
Perhaps, okay, so if you lower your expectation, you think that's the complaint we always get from these kind of topics. And when we say lower your expectation, well, it won't be anything in life then. No, you will be more relaxed. Honestly, it's not going to stop you working hard, studying hard. These kind of things won't stop you, but the only thing this will hopefully do just takes the edge of that suffering away a little bit. You will still strive. You still have a craving for a car. You still have a craving for your boss to be a bit nicer. But when you look at it, it's like, there's only so much I can expect from my boss. They're not that great, but hey, they have their limiting factors. They're not in charge. They just guesstimating the best of their abilities. The same thing, so you're just trying to take now the little bit of that big suffering away. That's why I give this talk. It won't erase your suffering. It won't stop you doing things. You will still do the same things after this talk. I don't have that high expectation about my talk. But you need to if you put in effort a little bit, you start seeing realistically what life is. It takes, and you need to do this actually in your own life, like what the car can give you, how much happiness does it actually give you? It gives you certain kind of freedom, and then you can take monks around, and yeah. But hopefully this talk will inspire a little bit. You put in the effort, you contemplate a little bit, you see the world a little bit differently. What is suffering? What is happiness in life? This lowers your expectations a little bit, so you suffer a little bit less. And when you suffer a little bit less, you're a little bit closer to the Nibbana. Your mind is a bit more at ease. We're trying to have the mind a little bit more at ease, a little bit more. Takes effort. Hopefully these talks we give, they're there to inspire you. We don't go into snap enlightenment. It just doesn't happen. You will still have your car tomorrow, let me promise. And it gives you a certain amount of happiness. But there's only certain kind of happinesses life can give you. Lower your expectations. That's it.
Right. Let's all say 3 sadhus. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So I guess we can dedicate the merits.
Yes. So before that, I think brothers and sisters, one of our volunteers' mothers, Brother Eugene's mothers, has been recently admitted to the ICUs. So perhaps we can send good thoughts for her as well as the family, so that they can go through this and hope for yeah.
For her,
well-being,
the
for
best
her
what her
well-being, yes.
body can give you. Hopefully,
Alright.
she will be happy in her mind. Yeah.
Okay. So let us dedicate our merits and also request for blessings.
Okay, so you do the dedication and this. Okay.
Can be an Ajahn. Let us invite all sentient beings to participate in our acquired merits. Etawata cha ammehi sambatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Etawata cha ammehi sambatam punya sampadam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Etawata cha ammehi sambatam punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good.